Any place there's a boss with underlings in any corporation or any industry, you have a type of sexual politics that goes on.
Tom Hanks' son, Chet Hanks, is shaking the foundations of Hollywood with revelations no one saw coming. This time, the whispers aren't about red carpets or blockbuster movies. They're about hidden truths that could rewrite the legacy of America's so-called nicest guy. And the bombshell doesn't just stop with his father. Oprah Winfrey, a name synonymous with trust and inspiration, is also in the line of fire.
The truth is, it is a double-edged sword. It's a lot more complicated, and not so many people really understand it. You gotta keep in mind that fame is the most powerful drug known to man.
In an explosive tell-all, Chet accuses his father of being entangled in shadowy dealings with Hollywood elites, allegedly including Oprah herself. According to Chet, behind the polished smiles and carefully curated public personas lies a world of secrets, manipulation, and betrayals that Hollywood works overtime to bury.
So what was it like for you growing up as the son of a prominent celebrity?
And it was really kind of like a double-edged sword.
He even goes as far as to suggest that the bonds between his father and Oprah extend far beyond professional courtesy, hinting at dynamics that raise eyebrows and questions. Why is Chet exposing this now? Is it revenge, a cry for justice, or just someone finally shedding light on the untouchable stars of Hollywood?
Oh, God! You know what I mean? Like, it was bad.
The stakes couldn't be higher. If what Chet claims is true, it could dismantle the very image Tom Hanks and Oprah have spent decades building. So buckle up, because this story is about to go where no tabloid dares to tread. Growing up in the shadow of Hollywood royalty might sound like a dream, but for Chet Hanks, it was nothing short of a nightmare. In his own words, his parents, Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson, controlled every single aspect of his life. From the outside, they appeared as the perfect morally upright family. But behind the scenes, Chet paints a very different picture. He describes being kept on an impossibly tight leash, as though they were desperate to keep him from discovering something that could shatter the image they worked so hard to build.
A lot, but it was kind of inevitable that I rebelled because they had me like on a really short leash. They're like really like goody, square, you know, Boy Scout, Eagle Scout, Scouts honor type people, you know what I mean? And that was never my vibe. For example, like when I got caught smoking weed, right? My mom was out in absolute hysterics. Oh, God! You know what I mean? Like it was bad.
Chet admitted that the punishment he faced for stepping out of line was extreme. When he got caught smoking weed at 17, his mother reportedly broke down in hysterics. And his parents didn't just ground him, they sent him to a wilderness program in the middle of nowhere. Woken up at 4 a.m. by two burly strangers, he was whisked away without explanation and never returned to his high school. It felt more like being punished for their own secrets than his actions. You see, while Tom Hanks was beating Chet into a goody two-shoes, his name was being brought up by his fellow actors in things no one should ever associate with. As Chet grew older, the weight of his family's hidden truths began to crush him. He recalls being forced to interact with people who, in his words, were known PDOs. Yet despite recognizing the danger, he had no choice but to comply. His parents' reputation and their desire to maintain a squeaky clean facade took precedence over his safety and well-being. It was like I was the collateral damage for their perfect image, he says.
First things first, man, we talking about the hearse. I got mad gifts, but this verse about the curse. Or when life stops and the good times cease, Dee's aunt and Dice's grandma rest in peace.
Now Chet is speaking out, and his revelations are casting an entirely new light on the Hanks family. What was once seen as a household of Hollywood's golden couple is now under scrutiny, with claims that their obsessive control over Chet was less about parenting and more about keeping their own skeletons hidden. Listen, the rumors of a high society ST ring has been around for years now. And to be honest, for years, some industry people have tried to speak out about the monstrosities taking place there, but no one was seriously implicated. That was until Harvey Weinstein came into the picture. Harvey Weinstein, once a powerhouse in Hollywood, saw his empire crumble when decades of allegations of SH surfaced. The New York Times blew the lid off in a damning expose detailing horrifying accounts of Weinstein forcing women to massage him, watch him naked, and endure his predatory advances in exchange for promises of advancing their careers. Actresses Rose McGowan and Ashley Judd were among the first to bravely come forward. The fallout was swift. Weinstein issued a half-hearted apology, admitting he'd caused pain while vehemently denying harassment allegations spanning nearly 3 decades. The Weinstein Company ousted him immediately, but the revelations kept piling up. Romola Garai revealed feeling violated during an audition at just 18 when Weinstein greeted her in a bathrobe. A New Yorker expose brought forth chilling accusations from 13 more women, with claims of R and coercion that Weinstein staunchly denied. Hollywood A-listers like Gwyneth Paltrow and Angelina Jolie added their voices to the chorus, recounting their traumatic experiences with Weinstein during their younger years. As his world fell apart, Weinstein's wife, Georgina Chapman, announced she was leaving him to prioritize their children. His downfall marked a turning point in Hollywood, exposing a culture of silence and complicity. Long story short, Harvey Weinstein wasn't just exposed as a predator, he was outed as a pedo. Now, you might be wondering, why bring Harvey Weinstein into a conversation about Tom Hanks and Oprah? Well, surprise, surprise, these two Hollywood icons were very close with Weinstein. That's right, Tom Hanks and Oprah didn't just rub shoulders with the disgraced producer, they were deeply connected. And when you hear what's been going on behind the scenes with these two untouchable stars, you'll start to see how tangled this web really is. Buckle up, because the connections and revelations will make you question everything you thought you knew about Hollywood's golden circle. Anyway, when people tried to question Tom Hanks about SA lawsuits against Harvey, he said,
Any place there's a boss with underlings in any corporation or any industry, you have a type of sexual politics that goes on.
Did you realize how quickly Tom just glossed over the serious allegations that ultimately destroyed lives? But that wasn't the part that had people scratching their heads. This is how Tom literally admitted that he knew that something was up with Harvey's PV behavior, but decided to speak against it. I think there was knowledge amongst a certain group of people, mostly who did business with Harvey Weinstein. There are countless women who understood that is what happened. And then there were many people who said, well, that's just Harvey being Harvey. You and I and even the likes of people on the Turner Classic Movies understand that the idea of the casting couch that existed in Hollywood is the part of both myth and concrete reality. Any place there is a boss with underlings in any corporation or any industry, you have a type of S-politics that goes on that can slide in between appropriate ethics and decorum too. Let's see, inappropriate behavior to the point of H and SP behavior. I know at first it feels like Tom is condemning Harvey's behavior, but he cleverly just outright said that they knew what they were getting into. But that's not even the worst part. Here's what he said afterwards. There are people that said, well, hey, this is how it works, pure and simple. Complicity, people who know. That's what has got to be done. So beware. That is also present without a doubt. Wait, what? Is this supposed to be a condemnation or a justification? Hanks seemed to suggest that complicity and silence were just part of how things operate, not only in Hollywood but in every industry. He even mentioned victims who negotiated settlements with non-disclosure agreements, adding, that also doesn't carry the day. It sounds like he's trying to distance himself from Weinstein's behavior while subtly normalizing it as how business works. Hanks does admit the dam has burst and calls such actions criminal and cause for termination, but his comments feel more like a carefully worded PR move than genuine outrage.
It's also happening in every other corner of not just my industry, but yours and throughout all of America.
Do you think this is a kind of tipping point?
Well, I think it absolutely.
Here's the thing. If Hanks truly believed in accountability, why is he so vague and detached about the systemic issues he claims to acknowledge? Could it be because he's protecting more than just his own reputation? Tom Hanks' values seems twisted. He's condemning Weinstein but almost shrugging at the culture that enabled him. And considering Hanks' close ties to other powerful figures like Oprah, it makes you wonder just how deep his involvement in Hollywood's dark underbelly goes. It's almost like he's hinting at something bigger while carefully keeping himself in the clear. If you think about it, Tom even seemingly admitted that in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, he said, "There's a lot of reasons people do this for a living. Making a movie is a life experience that can create an awful lot of joy. You can meet the person you fall in love with. You can laugh your heads off. That's the good stuff. The bad stuff can happen on a movie as well. There are some people who go into this business because they get off on having power. And the times that they feel most powerful, which is why they went into the business, are when they are hitting on somebody who's underneath them. And I don't necessarily mean completely S. There are predators absolutely everywhere. I'm telling you, these people always hide in plain sight. Anyway, soon after, this nicest guy was exposed by an actor, Isaac Cappy.
I'm tired of people lying. I've watched these people just lie and 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 they will never tell the truth.
Isaac Cappy's sudden emergence in the conspiracy spotlight back in 2018 sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond. Appearing on Alex Jones's controversial InfoWars show, Cappy didn't hold back, leveling explosive allegations against some of the biggest names in the industry, including Tom Hanks and Seth Green. He accused them of being involved in a sprawling child exploitation ring, tying them to the infamous QAnon conspiracy theory. Cappy's claims, while lacking concrete evidence, didn't go unnoticed. Conspiracy circles latched onto his every word, heralding him as a whistleblower, exposing Hollywood's darkest secrets. The QAnon movement, already thriving on unproven theories about a secret cabal running global CTS rings, embraced Cappy as a hero, amplifying his allegations across social media platforms. But there is a very important missing link between Isaac, Oprah, and Tom, and that is Steven Spielberg. You might not know, Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks, and Oprah Winfrey, three names synonymous with Hollywood royalty, suddenly found themselves trending for all the wrong reasons. Coincidence? Or perhaps there's more to the story. Whispers began circulating, fueled by actor Isaac Cappy's chilling accusations that Spielberg and Hanks weren't just passive observers in Hollywood's dark underbelly, but were potentially complicit in the systemic A. Spielberg, for his part, admitted to some level of misconduct within his own company, stating in an interview with The Guardian, "There was some inappropriate behavior years and years ago inside my own company, which we dealt with and dismissed the person involved in that. But I've always had small companies with no more than 70 employees, and my companies have always been run by women. I find when companies are run by women, there's less of a chance for men to get away with that kind of behavior." But even as Spielberg pat himself on the back for handling it, questions arose about what else he may have ignored. Spielberg claimed to have known Harvey Weinstein was a bully, but insisted the extent of Weinstein's behavior, particularly the misconduct allegations, caught him by surprise. Yet, in an industry rife with rumors and open secrets, many found it hard to believe Spielberg's feigned ignorance. After all, if he knew Weinstein was a bully, what else might he have known but chosen to overlook? This brings us to Tom Hanks and Oprah Winfrey, who, like Spielberg, have been tied to the same circles of power that Harvey Weinstein once ruled. Whispers allege that Hanks and Oprah didn't just turn a blind eye to Weinstein's Ring of A, but may have even facilitated it in more ways than one. While no hard evidence has emerged, speculation about their deep ties to Hollywood's elite has people raising eyebrows, especially considering Oprah's infamous photo ops with Weinstein, and Hanks' knack for deflecting questions about Hollywood's darker corners. Spielberg once admitted that he knew Harvey Weinstein was a bully in Hollywood, but claimed the rest of Weinstein's sleazy behavior caught him off guard. According to Spielberg, he only learned about the misconduct allegations when the bombshell story dropped. In his own words, "I knew he was a bully, but the other stuff, yeah, that was news to me." Sure, Spielberg acknowledged that shady casting couch situations were practically written into Hollywood's history books. He even threw it back to Shakespeare's time for good measure. But as for Weinstein's rampant misconduct, apparently Spielberg was out of the loop until it hit the headlines. And then there's Chet Hanks, Tom's own son, who allegedly hinted that his father's pristine reputation might not be as spotless as it seems. Chet's cryptic comments about the tight leash he was kept on and the secrets he was shielded from only added fuel to the fire. Many now wonder if Chet's rebellious streak was less about teenage angst and more about breaking free from the shadow of something far more sinister.
Oh, God! You know what I mean? Like, it was bad.
Oprah Winfrey's connection to Harvey Weinstein wasn't just a professional acquaintance. It was a gateway. Actress Katie Ann Noble recalled how Oprah's public closeness to Weinstein made her trust him, ultimately leading her to follow him back to a hotel where she became one of his victims. When Weinstein's actions were exposed, Oprah didn't offer explanations or take accountability for her role in lending him credibility. Instead, she deflected, telling CBS, "If we make this just about Harvey Weinstein, then we will have lost this moment." But not everyone bought her narrative. Musician Seal didn't hold back, calling out Oprah's alleged complicity. "Oh, I forgot, that's right. You heard the rumors, but you had no idea he was actually serially A-ing young starry-eyed actresses, who in turn had no idea what they were getting into. My bad." When you have been part of the problem for decades, but suddenly they all think that you are the solution. Seal's statement sent shockwaves through Hollywood. But what happened next was even more curious. Just 5 days after calling Oprah out, Seal faced battery charges, a sudden and suspicious turn of events. Miraculously, those charges were dropped within days, with insiders alleging the accuser went to the police after seeing Seal's comments about Oprah and Weinstein. Coincidence? Many think not. And the controversy doesn't end with Weinstein. Oprah's name surfaces repeatedly in other dark corners of Hollywood. Court files from Jeffrey Epstein's trial include references to Winfrey and her presence at Diddy's infamous parties, long rumored to be hubs for exploitation, has only deepened suspicions. Yet mainstream outlets largely ignore or gloss over her connections, leaving critical questions unanswered. Then there's the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls in South Africa, a project meant to uplift underprivileged girls, but marred by allegations of A. A dormitory matron was charged with multiple counts of A, and the headmistress later sued Oprah for defamation, with the case quietly settled out of court. Disturbingly, these incidents barely made a ripple in the press, raising serious concerns about selective media coverage.
Something strange is going on with Oprah Winfrey's South African School for Girls.
Articles and reports seem to vanish, with only smaller outlets and social media holding Oprah's feet to the fire. For years, she's managed to sidestep serious accountability, and the selective media coverage just adds to the growing skepticism surrounding her spotless reputation. It's almost as if Oprah operates within a protective bubble, shielded from the fallout that has ensnared others. Whether it's Weinstein, Epstein, or scandals tied to her own projects, the lack of accountability surrounding her name leaves us with more questions than answers. Could there be more to her carefully crafted public image? The pieces of this puzzle suggest the answer might be far darker than anyone wants to admit. That's all for today. We hope you liked that video, and if you did, be sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos like this.